Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. In this video, again with the match Capablanca versus Marshall. Okay, so this is round 8. In the previous round 7, which I shown you in the last video, Capablanca was surprisingly beaten by Marshall. And maybe it was just like a feeling where, okay, I can make any move I want to and I will just beat him. Yeah, maybe he got overconfident or something, but yeah, I assure you that Capablanca took this defeat very seriously, and as it is always, you learn best from your defeats. So now we move to the round 8, and this is actually, I will have this video about this round and only one more video for this match, since I don't want to give you an impression that all I want to do is on my channel show you games between Capablanca and Marshall. But this match really has many interesting games, and I just wanted to show you how Capablanca, 20-year-old Capablanca, fares against Marshall, who was considered to be one of the top players at that time. Okay, so we have here round 8, again a change of venue, and yeah, again an interesting game. So let's go into it. E4, E5, so Capablanca is white, Marshall is black, and until now the result is 3-1. I'm going to let you guess which opening did they play. So after knight to f3 and knight to c6, was it the Scotch or was it maybe the Italian game? No, it's of course it's Ruy Lopez. Again, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I think it goes like that. Yeah, bishop to b5, a very common Capablanca move and Capablanca weapon against his players. And of course d6, a passive defensive Steinitz defense of the Ruy Lopez from Marshall. And here we have castle. So in the 6th round, where we saw that beautiful match, beautiful game between them, he actually played c3, and then we had that strange bishop to g4 move, and here he takes a different course. He plays castle. But okay, here Marshall kind of I guess realized that maybe he should be making moves that kind of make Capablanca think. So here a6, gotta move the bishop, man. So will you take on c6 or will you go a4? Both moves work. Yeah, both moves continue with the opening in a perfectly normal way. Bishop takes on c6 by Capablanca and b takes c6. So a very common idea in Ruy Lopez. White gives up a bishop pair, and black actually has double pawns on the c file. And okay, this is definitely playable for both sides. d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4, and now bishop to d7. Okay, here I wanted to give you my personal touch on this move. So it isn't a bad move or anything. I would rather maybe play c5 here, and then, I don't know, if knight to b3, maybe even consider playing at some point bishop to b7. I mean, it's not good right away because of knight a5, and it kind of disregards the whole idea. So yeah, here maybe a normal continuation with development, bishop to e7 castle, and yeah, prepare some bishop to b7 maybe in the future. And also the idea would work on knight to f3, also bishop b7 without any threats, knight to a5, or even bishop to g4. So yeah, the options are open if you play c5 right away. But okay, bishop to d7, an okay move, and now we have rook to e1. Okay, we want to put the rook on the e file since king is still in the center and black has a lot of pieces to develop. c5 now and knight to f3. Bishop to e7 and knight to c3. And now c6. So, Marshall. We're playing c6. Okay, a clear idea behind the move. You want to attack, defend the d5 square, because this knight, if it jumps here, there is a clear understanding that this knight would be a monster, because it would cover a lot of the board and yeah, make a lot of threats. But the thing is, with playing c6, you're leaving this d6 pawn really weak. And why play c6 if knight to f6 kind of makes the, yeah, it's a more natural move makes the same threat. I don't know. I think knight to f6 was better here, but okay, c6. And now we have, of course, by Capablanca, a guy who, I don't know, understands the position that good, plays bishop to f4 right away, taking advantage of this weakness. Bishop e6 moving because you have to defend twice this pawn, and now queen to d3. Now Capablanca has a clear idea what he wants to do. Double up and pressure the d pawn. Knight to f6 and rook to d1. D5. So since this pawn will be taken if you don't do something, Marshall plays d5, but this gives Capablanca a chance to play knight to g5. This bishop now is standing here and it's ready for the taking. Knight will just take the bishop pair, and both players will have a knight and a bishop. d4, knight takes on e6 and f takes on e6. And now if you already look at white's position, you have this weak pawn, you have this really unnecessary pawn. Maybe black would even be better if this pawn wasn't there. So yeah, black position, even though the material is equal, it's really, really bad. Just because of this strange looking pawn center, which can be taken advantage of pretty quickly. So here knight to a4. Okay, Capablanca decides to put the knight on the edge of the board. I maybe expressed a couple of times that I have a problem with moves such as that, but sometimes it works. So Capablanca's idea is to play b3, knight to b2, but knight to c4. So knight to c4 here would be really great. And maybe other idea would have been to play the knight to e2, and then try maybe after queen to h3, bishop to e5 and knight f4, try with that kind of approach. But okay, knight to f4 still works, and now queen to a5. b3 defending the knight, and here we have rook to d8. I'm not really sure that maybe castles was better, but rook to d8 isn't like doing anything really. And maybe he was afraid of c3 or something, but okay. Here knight to b2, and yeah, as I've said, the plan is to jump on c4. Black cannot take on a2 because after knight to c4, whatever black plays, like castle or some normal move, rook to a1 comes, and you're losing the queen and essentially the game. So this pawn isn't free for the taking, rather he plays knight to h5. So Marshall also likes to play the knight off the edge of the board, and my thinking is that maybe that was a thing back in the day, because I'm not really sure. I mean, this moves, okay, you have bishop to e5 from Capablanca, but this move now, it has an idea to jump on f4, but Capablanca will show that that isn't too fast. Castles by black and knight to c4, attacking the queen. Queen plays on b4, and now queen to h3. So threatening to take on e6. Yeah, like I said, when you're playing, you wanna take advantage of weak points in your opponent's position. And when you look at this position, Capablanca played really natural looking moves. He played the moves that seemed really easy and just push them and push them. On the other side, I think Marshall was mostly playing against himself, setting up his pieces and not looking good. You have seen what has become of the weak d6 pawn. He had to push him twice. He came to d4, and now this just looks awful. And as I said previously, even though the material is equal, the black's position here is far, far worse. This side, so just looking at the pawns, you can see that black isn't doing so well. So he could have played here knight to f4, maybe to attack the queen, but then just bishop takes on f4 and queen takes on e6. So he decided g6, but nevertheless, queen takes on e6. And yeah, so here you have to defend rook to f7 and g4. I mean, so Capablanca also makes it a thing where, I already saw it and talked about it in a couple of videos. He tends to play g4 when the king is on g1. Like maybe today we can connect this to Levon Aronian, a very strong Armenian grandmaster. He tends to play h4 when the king is on the castled king side. So Capablanca plays g4, and now, yeah, it's all over for black. I mean, he could have played knight to g7, then bishop to g7, king to g7, and after knight to e5, yeah, this rook has to move. Or if it doesn't move, you will just capture it, and if it moves, you'll just capture the bishop. So not looking good for Team Black here. And instead of that, Marshall was looking for some counterplay moves, and he played bishop to h4. But Capablanca disregarded that. He just captured the knight, and now we have bishop takes on f2, king h1, and bishop takes on e1. And okay, sorry for this. First, queen to c3. So if bishop takes on e1, then we have h captures on g6, h captures on g6, queen g6, and yeah, black is going towards checkmate. King to f8, bishop to f6, kind of reducing the space where the king can go to, and queen to c3, looking for some ideas on maybe queen to f3. So knight to e5, threatening checkmate and also defending the check on f3. You have rook to d7, queen checks, check again, rook f8, king check, rook f7, and after queen to g4 you have a checkmate in 9, and this is just after manipulating the position a couple of times with checks. Yeah, you can see how better the position of white is here. But okay, let's get back to the original position. So because of that, probably Marshall didn't take on e1. He played queen to c3 and tried to give a check immediately. So Capablanca finds the best move in the position, which is rook to e3. It prevents it, and also you cannot take the rook. So if you take the rook with the pawn, this is checkmate in 1 because the rook is pinned. And of course you cannot take with the queen, because yeah, the bishop will just take, the knight will just take, and if you take like this, then you have the same idea with the capturing. So okay, instead of that, we have queen to c2 and a rook plays here, so that both rooks are defended and white can continue with the attack. Queen to e2, looking for some chances again, and now white has time to play knight to d6. The rook is pinned, so he's going after it. Rook takes on d6 and bishop takes on d6, and now bishop to e1. So if white plays something like, I don't know, if he takes, then queen to f1 is checkmate. So you have to be careful, you have to give checks to prevent this, and Capablanca finds the way. So at this point, it is actually checkmate in 14 moves, and Capablanca goes towards it. Queen to e8 check, you cannot defend with the rook because this is checkmate, so king to g7, and now h6. And in this position, actually, Marshall resigned the game, and yeah, the reason is if you play, for example, king to f6, then this is checkmate, and if he plays king to g6, then you can just capture the rook, and there aren't threats on f1. So yeah, I wanted to show you this game just to see how dominating actually Capablanca was in this game, and you can clearly see the difference in strength between the two players. So yeah, that being said, without me taking too long, I would like to thank you for watching this video, and I'm going to be back tomorrow with the last game of this match.